What's up, guys? Andy here, and today I'm going to talk about a very important subject, which is what I perceive to be the most underrated food group. Before we get to that, though, let's clarify one point. When I look at the survey data of my colleagues, my fellow dietitians, there's one piece of advice that sits above the rest, which is eat more vegetables, okay? Unremarkable advice, good advice, mind you, but unremarkable. And certainly vegetables are not underrated by the vast majority of people, so they wouldn't qualify for today's discussion. No. Today's discussion is going to be centered around legumes, lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans, and related foods, okay? So why is it that I deem legumes, with all of my experience as a dietitian, all my writing, my books, my client interactions, why is it that I perceive this food group to be the most underrated? That's what I'm going to explain. Okay, let's start with micronutrients, specifically potassium, zinc, magnesium, okay? On a population level, these three micronutrients tend to be underconsumed, okay? And heck, you go on Amazon.ca, you check out what the top selling supplements are. Magnesium and zinc are among the top selling single mineral supplements, okay? Guess what food has all three, or what group of foods rather has all three of these nutrients in varying quantities? Legumes do. There's one great reason, okay? Next great reason. Legumes are very unique from their macronutrient perspective because many foods have fiber and many foods have protein. Legumes have really meaningful amounts of both, which is wonderful because what we know is fiber and protein are the two food components which keep us satiated, okay? Meaning they keep us full. And obviously being full after meals, okay, and the blood sugar regulation, appetite regulation that follows is a wonderful thing. Something we're all after, right? So how does this affect you in a practical sense? And this actually will carry over to another point. If you have a meal that's, let's say, for the sake of argument, white rice with chicken and broccoli. Well, if you mixed that white rice 50-50 with lentils or 75-25 with lentils, that changes the dynamic of the meal. You increase the fiber content, you increase the protein content, you increase the satiation potential, and you also minimize the effect it has on your blood sugar levels, which brings me to the next point, is that legumes are very functional when it comes to combating different disease states, let's say. So for example, and I'll put the link in the description to an article I wrote on this topic. But if we take type 2 diabetes as an example, okay, studies have demonstrated that even swapping out a serving of rice or potatoes with a serving of legumes, with swapping in a serving of legumes, can lower your risk of diabetes. Having multiple servings a week of legumes for those living with type 2 can improve blood sugar control significantly, okay? Legumes are very high in what's called soluble fiber. Now, I've spoken about soluble fiber previously on my oatmeal video, and what soluble fiber does, it's sticky and it slows things down. It slows down the movement of food through your digestive tract, okay? Now, I think it's pretty obvious why that's beneficial for blood sugar levels because it allows your body to respond more, I say, naturally, or gives your body more time to respond to the blood sugar rise to come, and certainly reduces the extent to which it rises because of the slowing effect. Legumes have an incredible amount of fiber, so they contribute that effect, okay? So that's very, very important to keep in mind. Now, in the oatmeal video, I also explained how soluble fiber lowers cholesterol. So by that token, legumes, like if we think about cholesterol, okay, cholesterol medication is one of the most frequently prescribed in Canada. That's a significant topic, okay? Legumes are one of the 4 key food groups described by Dr. David Jenkins in his portfolio diet, okay? And I've written an article on that as well. Dr. David Jenkins, British-born, Toronto working, I believe, physician scientist. So legumes are one of the 4 key food groups in his cholesterol-lowering dietary strategy, okay? And they're arguably the most impactful for the reasons I just discussed, okay? So we know that legumes help fight common conditions. They're ultra-satiating, and they have minerals that many people don't get enough of, okay? These are the 3 characteristics which make legumes, I say, underrated, okay? Because they don't get that much of the headlines. They're not consumed that regularly. When I speak with my clients, they kind of fly under the radar. But legumes, whether roasted as a snack in the afternoon, they serve an awesome purpose there. Whether used as a base of a meal or in combination with other starchy foods as a base of a meal. Oh, and by the way, that brings me to my next point. Glycemic index, which is the extent to which a food raises your blood sugar levels, is negligible, near 0. It's about 10 or 15 for most legumes as far as I can recall. And that is a reflection of the high fiber content, and so on and so forth. So all the characteristics we want in a food, essentially all in one place. Also, by the way, great source of iron for vegans and vegetarians, especially when combined, obviously, with the source of vitamin C to enhance absorption. And a great way for the average person to balance their animal and plant protein intake, because we know, in the grand scheme of things, that's a smart thing to do for health and longevity, okay? Now, look, there's one other thing we have to discuss. Now, I know for some people, legumes will gas you up more than a guy on a first date. Let's be honest, if they're into you, okay? That's a problem for some people, a problem that can be mitigated by controlling portion size, maybe trying canned lentils, which I think have the lowest component of the gas causing compounds. So you could try using small amounts, like half a cup. So if a cup of chickpeas gasses you up, try half a cup, go from there. So, obviously if you have a massive serving of legumes, you won't need a massive serving because the nature of them, they're not something that can be eaten too quickly. They certainly are very filling, so you won't necessarily need a large amount, but yes, a large amount may cause gas. Okay, guys, well, you know what? I think I articulated my points clearly, so I'm going to stop there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll consider eating more legumes, either by themselves or as part of a mixed meal, and I'll catch you at the next vid. All right, see ya.